Petrol car sales teeter on the brink as drivers shun older technologies in favour of electric vehicles. This article taken from GB News by Felix Reeves. Not only is it rather reasonable, but if you put the pieces together here, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what's in store for the future. No genius, by the way, can see future. August saw enough electric car sales to meet lofty government goals, as research shows a dramatic drop in the market share of petrol vehicles, hinting that a major shift could be around the corner. Major shift might be an understatement here, more like a global cataclysm for traditional car companies that simply haven't done what's necessary to turn their 100-year-old internal combustion engine manufacturing systems into the next generation of transportation: software-defined battery electric vehicles. This might seem ridiculous for some, but see Volkswagen, for example, of too little too late, and what I predict to be an imminent collapse. The data shows that no additional growth is needed in the share of electric vehicles for the rest of the year to meet the terms of the zero-emission vehicle mandate. This outlines how manufacturers are required to have a 22% of total sales come from zero-emission vehicles by the end of the year, followed by an 80% target in 2030 and 100% in 2035. My thoughts keep changing somewhat on this 2030 ban. I hate the fact that it is dividing people. It's dividing, car people and EV people. We all need to just come together and just accept that we need to embrace change a little bit, don't we? What I don't like is this sort of forcing people, telling people, oh, you're not going to be able to do this by 2030. I don't like being told what to do. No one does, do they? And despite me being a bit of a Tesla addict and continually talking about electric cars and how everyone should adopt them, I'm not telling people to do it. I just think it might be better if they did. Is that telling people? Maybe it is telling people. I think we should let the markets decide. We should let the consumers decide which vehicles they're going to buy. Now, if by 2030 we've got what I expect to be far cheaper electric cars available from a plethora of different manufacturers with even better range than we have today, I think you'd have to be insane to buy a diesel or a petrol car in 2030, which will be a far inferior product. It just won't offer as much as an electric vehicle. It won't make sense to buy an internal combustion engine by then. So why ban it at all? I might be totally wrong on that one. Let me know in the comments below what you think. New Automotive's latest electric car count reported that sales of electric vehicles reached 23% of the new vehicle market share, with sales up 10% compared to the same time last year. Hybrid sales surged to a 35% market share in July, with petrol clinging onto the top of the list with a 36% share. The data suggests that hybrids could surpass, and that's the end of the sentence. I think they might have missed some words there. Unless that's the end. The data suggests that hybrids could surpass. Let's finish it there. New Automotive stated that petrol's dominance teeters on the brink as drivers look to invest in cleaner forms of transport. More than 19,000 electric vehicles, cars, vans, motorbikes and HGVs were sold in August. I mean, would you look at that? 19,000 people that were not forced but chose to buy a new EV over an engine. Perhaps that's 19,000 people who have realised they were being lied to about the negatives of electric vehicles. Here's a brief list of facts taken from the excellent Little Book of EV Myths from Quintin Wilson's Fair Charge campaign. Feel free to share this with your miserable friends and family members. Did I say miserable? I meant misinformed. New EV prices are falling. A Dacia Spring, for example, is just £14,345 brand new, £156 a month. Anyone who still thinks that EVs are just for the super rich need to move on from that stupid argument. Here's a second-hand EV with 42,000 miles on the clock for less than £2,500. Here's some other quick facts. There are EVs with over 300,000 miles on original batteries. Car makers now offer 8-year, 100,000-mile battery warranties on EVs. That's a better warranty than on a combustion engine. The average UK EV battery range is now 236 miles. Now, for the 10,000 miles a year or 20 miles commute that people tend to make every day, that's plenty for the UK, is it not? Internal combustion engine cars are 20 times more likely to catch fire. Not 20% more likely, 20 times more likely to catch fire. Lifetime CO2 emissions from an EV are 68% less than an ICE car. This number is improving with more renewable energy contributing to our electricity grid, therefore going into the cars, being cleaner every year that passes. Speaking of which, 80% of EVs are charged at home using renewables. As of May 2024, 55% of the power to the UK grid came from zero carbon sources, powering all our electric cars. For anyone screaming, "Don't force me to drive an EV," you can drive an internal combustion vehicle forever, so long as there's fuel to power them, that is. The 2035 ban is just for new internal combustion engine vehicles. Nobody's coming to take away your engine. There are 101 electric cars available to buy in the UK. That's quite the variety, given that 10 years ago there was about 2. Tyre wear is similar to petrol and diesel cars. Depends if you drive it like you stole it as to whether you munch through your rubber. 80% EV adoption would only increase electricity grid demand by 10% in the UK. It's important to understand that over the past couple of decades, the UK has seen a fall of around 16% in electricity demand through technological efficiencies. Billions of power-hungry light bulbs, for example, have been swapped to very low-energy LEDs amongst many other efficient items. On a countrywide scale, that equates to an enormous drop in electricity demand, a drop which just happens to be able to fill up our cars for the future. A few other quick points. No bridge or car park has ever collapsed due to an electric vehicle. Global battery recycling will be worth $6.8 billion by 2028. Around 95% of the materials within the batteries can be recycled indefinitely. You just need to separate them, create new batteries, they can go into new electric cars. This will be a closed loop system. Where there is money to be made, there is an enormous business opportunity. Recycling batteries is it. Oh, get this one. EV satisfaction rates are over 90%, even higher if you own a Tesla. One survey reports 99% of Tesla Model 3 owners said they would recommend the car to their family and friends, and 98% said they'd buy one again. Can anyone name a product ever with that kind of satisfaction rate? Please comment below. Back to the article. Ben Nelm, CEO of New Automotive, said, "It is great to see continued growth in the number of people opting for an electric car. Electric cars are much cheaper to run, nicer to drive, and they are a key to hitting net zero. So it is great to see more and more people discovering the benefits of going electric. The data also shows a significant fall in the sales of purely petrol and diesel cars as consumers shun older, polluting technologies." Here's a quick thought. There are 1.3 million EVs in the UK. That's a lot of fossil fuel demand destroyed. You don't think big oil could be behind misinformation campaigns against EVs? Nah, that would never happen, would it? Silly me. The experts suggested that this could be followed up by the new Labour government to follow through with its manifesto pledge to reinstate the 2030 deadline to ban the sales of new petrol and diesel vehicles. He also highlighted how the predicted flood of Chinese electric cars is still barely a trickle, indeed, following strong action from manufacturers and the introduction of large tariffs by the European Union. Affordable EVs are coming, if of course the UK doesn't do what the USA and Canada are now doing by imposing 100% tariffs on Chinese-made electric vehicles. I'm sure that won't bite them on the bum in the future or make people realise that they are perhaps missing out on more affordable vehicles thanks to government intervention. Not sure how I feel about this one either. Comment below with your thoughts. Manufacturers are making progress with electric vehicle sales despite a gloomy outlook from industry experts. BMW, Mercedes and Stellantis-owned brands were found to be boosting EV numbers. Almost 1/3 of BMWs sold in the last 12 months are battery electric, while a quarter of Mercedes vehicles do not have a tailpipe, meaning the brands now have the second and fourth biggest market share of EVs, respectively. Well, bravo BMW and Mercedes, about smegging time. And even Stellantis, that giant umbrella of a car manufacturer, is producing a massive amount of electric car choice for consumers. Vauxhall, for example, not only offer quite a selection of cars and vans, but rather pleasingly, they are built at the Elmsmere port plant here in the UK, the first all-electric car plant. Vauxhall has committed to a full EV lineup by 2028. That's foresight, commitment and dedication for you. While Tesla is still the most dominant brand for electric vehicles in the UK with more than 43,300 registrations, it has seen a huge drop in sales compared to the same time last year. Its percentage of electric vehicles in the UK has dropped 7% down to 14%, although this can be a result of positive action from other brands becoming more popular. This is the old market share issue. If you hypothetically have 100% of the market to yourself, you will necessarily lose market share as others enter the arena. The biggest metric that matters is how many cars you are selling, not what market share you happen to have. The Elon Musk-led brand is also the only major brand to meet the 100% benchmark within the zero-emission vehicle mandate, therefore having the largest amount of credits to trade and sell to other manufacturers if they cannot meet the ZEV target. This could be particularly useful for brands which have a small percentage of electric vehicles in their total sales, meaning they could fail to meet ZEV targets. Indeed, the amount of money Tesla has been given in credits from other car manufacturers that have failed to produce zero-emission vehicles at scale has effectively paid for the build of all of Tesla's global factories. Talk about adding insult to injury. Not only has Tesla been responsible for the demise of traditional auto thanks to providing the better technology of electric vehicles, but it sent them an invoice too. Let that sink in. So what does this all mean for the bigger picture then? 23% of new cars sold in August were EVs, but just 3.5% of all vehicles in the UK roads are fully electric. There's a long way to go still, but with EV costs declining, an ever-growing charging network, more vehicle choice than ever before, and more folks waking up to the massive benefits of electric cars, we are just getting started with the exponential growth, the explosion of electric cars. Not that kind of explosion. And as the UK's last coal power station shuts down at the end of this month, marking an end to 140 years of coal, thanks for the heat and power by the way, most appreciative, we say hello to an ever-increasing amount of renewable energy, which already contributes to over 50% of our electricity needs. I hope you can see the positive change that electric vehicles and renewable energy is bringing about for our country and around the world. Cleaner air in our towns and cities, less reliance on fossil fuels, and all the corruption and devastation that brings. We can be a country that leads the way for others to follow in building out a sustainable electric future. The opportunity in front of us should be one of excitement, inspiration even. With the convergence of green technologies for our homes and businesses, smarter, software-defined electric cars, we are just getting started with autonomous cars, robotics, artificial intelligence. I love following Tesla, SpaceX, Elon Musk's journey into disrupting the stagnant normalities of where we find ourselves in history today. One thing's for sure, it ain't boring. Well, this one is, but that's another story. I want to say a massive thanks to 2 people that have used my Tesla referral link and saved £1,000 or $1,000, wherever they might be in the world, off the purchase of their new Tesla. You can too by finding my Tesla referral link in the description below, if you've not bought a Tesla yet that is. And another massive thanks to all my new Patreons. I can't thank you enough for your support. It is literally keeping me going here with just the slightest glimpse into the future of making Tesla Jigsaw a teeny weeny revenue stream that might one day pay some bills. Oh, what a dreamer I am. If you want to hear an argument as to why the 20k Model 2 will bankrupt Tesla, I kid you not, click this. If you want a nice tour around the fantastic GridServe electric forecourt, click this instead. I'm Will, this is the Tesla Jigsaw. Thank you patrons, thank you for watching. Bye for now.